At that astonishing moment, Emily walked into the lounge. I heard her quite clearly. She was walking around quite nonchalantly, casually, and, she was dressed in her evening wear. I heard her say, quite casually, almost whimsically, "Faye, I can't understand why they haven't come up here for years. He told me that they had their companies. Oh, I don't care what the whole thing takes place. I don't care if what he does with this place. But the trustee, I may as well be dead. There's a secret trust, Richard, and nobody knows about it. Joint trustees where brothers could kill them both. And that's it. She walked off, smiling, almost laughing, grinning, impish really in her face, looked over her shoulder, glanced, and walked off, was gone. But I knew she was giving me some idea of what to expect. That she called me Richard, and I was the professor. I grabbed a diary to see if there was any more evidence, and I found these pages. A strange feeling was in the air. I could not explain it to myself, but I shivered and looked at the light. I was far from the capital. I was far from my lines. I had no food, no water, no hope, just fear. I braced myself, I prayed and looked at the map and contemplated Mary Magdalene. There was no help. I had no way out. I could stay in the shelter, but what would I eat? Could I go into the world? The ground was levelled out. There was no vegetation. I'd starved to death. The area was taken by the others. I couldn't even surrender if I wanted to, because I couldn't see them, because they were invisible. As I looked at the glow in the dim light, I saw the walls, the shadow, the darkness, the cavern silhouette in the stream, and the vacant corridor leading forward. And then someone. All was quiet, just the ringing, stinging steel of the bayonets of those who had killed was visible, and in my mind it played tricks on me, and I reverberated. It reverberated in time, and impelled, haunted me. Silence of the atmosphere turned and trapped. Extended a hand. She extended a hand. It hit the glass of the window. Looked at the walls, divided by a frame. The entrance, the painting opened. Certain lace of curtain traced the window and the silent dim light, and I returned to the map and studied it. Room was evident. I went through it. Situated opposite the centre of a church. I could return. Thought was, what was that with which I was cursed? Would a new day bring hope? I crawled around on my stomach as I went up the entrance of a sort of snaking pathway towards the mansion. Could I find sanctuary in this temple? Join others? Surely that was possible. Some time later I entered the square. There was rubble at the end of the corridor, and a mark all around as far as I could see. In the square, lines and lanes ran from it. It was debris. The mountain, voluminous hell, had left a mystery in its wake. The church's base, it stood still. It was a church, and I saw... I could swear I could see... She. I had known. She leaned forward in the entrance and she was cleaning the entrance. And to my surprise, well, modesty required, but she didn't seem to mind. She looked back over her shoulder, impish, and laughed, grinned and smiled and said, "Silver, a rose. Come on in." And I did. For a moment, my name came ringing back to me, but I knew I had forgotten. The absurdity of the situation had dumbfounded me. The shock of the attack had mentally dismembered me. I was beginning to remember. Robert Devine? Was Professor Robert Devine head of the faculty? DNA? Developing physicists? Medical science?